let's talk about Brooklyn, man. So Slim KD was hurt. I think he played, we'll call it 8 or 9 games. Don't quote me on that again. I'm gonna have to pull my phone up. He goes down. Kyrie, and they obtain Harden, obviously. And I'm notorious for being on Harden, bro. Like I'm openly. I'll be honest with you, man. I call him Cha Cha because he's been traveling a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? But at some point, Mike, if you're a fan of the game, man, you got to be grown and give credit where credit is due. And the boy has been playing his ass off, man. Like, he's their best playmaker. He runs the show. I'm not saying his handle is like Kyrie's. I'm not saying none of that. But I want the ball in his hand making those decisions, right? Like, he's the pick and pop. He's the pocket pass. Like, I need him doing that. How do you feel about Brooklyn, man? Like, let's say full strength. KD, they rounded the form. You got Kyrie, who's having probably his best season. If you think about it, the boy a walking 40-pack at this point. If they're at full strength, even with the, including additions of Aldridge and Blake Griffin, can they be beaten in a 7-game series? Oof. What's your gut telling you? That's what I want to know. What's your gut telling you?
My gut tells me. Actually, I turned the game on because I was hoping KD was playing tonight, but of course he ain't got back in yet. My gut tells me they get out of the East.
Okay.
I think they got too much firepower for the Sixers. Obviously Embiid will probably, he's going to do his thing. But other than that, I mean, you don't have, you got a couple other guys that can put up a good game. But I don't think over a course of a 4, 5, 6 game series, you're not going to have enough. And I'm not sold on the Bucks yet, right? Because I want us to add something to his game so that in crunch time or in playoff time, when they squeeze off the lane, I need him to still be able to, knock down a 17, 20-foot jumper consistently. So I think probably pretty easy. But when you get to the West, if the Lakers are healthy and the Clippers are healthy, I think – I don't know, man. They got a lot of scoring, man. Everybody talks about defense, but damn, when you could put up 140, 150 a game, like I don't know how much they're gonna be able to be slowed down. You know what I mean? Like, do you like
Rondo? Do you like that addition?
I do, but it's a different team. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like Paul George, and I'm not. Paul George is who he is, right? I'm not a huge fan. George, I think he's definitely a talented player. I think he's can be really soft at times.
No question. And I like Paul George, but no doubt.
But I think with that type of team, like, is Rondo going to affect it the same way he affected the Lakers, where he's playing off of Bron, playing off of AD. He's just knocked down jump shooter, right? So is he going to get those same type of opportunities, or is he going to have to be more of like that traditional point guard where he's got to set up the offense, get guys in position, get guys good shots, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So he's getting kind of old for those Boston Celtic day type point guards. I think he's more what he did with the Lakers and Bron and them in the playoffs last year. But I don't know if they can beat the Nets in the 7-game series. I mean, that's a lot of talent if everybody's healthy, and they've been through a lot of wars too. I mean, KD's got 2 championships, Kyrie's got a championship. James Harden's hungry to get one. So
that's the thing. Like with Harden, I have to give him peace for how he's playing because he's playing great point guard basketball, man. I mean, damn, 11 and a half, 12 dimes. But when the playoffs come, he has not been. It's not transferred. Like
no, hasn't.
It always declines in the playoffs for him. So that is going to be my question. Like KD, I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about Kyrie, especially when it get tight. Not worried about either one of them. So. If Harden can continue to play at this level, I think that's what's going to make it tough, man, because, I had a conversation with someone about comparing them to the Warriors, KD Warriors, right? And I think the Warriors were elite defensively, and they accomplished more, so I'm not going to jump out the window and we're just going to start comparing the Nets to them. They ain't even done nothing yet, right?
Right.
But from an offensive standpoint, man, 3 guys that can get this busy. This is not you didn't add Chris Bosh. Like, you added a dude that's averaging 34 or 35 points per game and won an MVP a couple years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To a bona fide assassin and a murderer in KD, You know, you could make a case for him being the best player in the world when he's healthy. And then Kyrie is just on a whole nother level, you know, when he ain't got the walking stick and the sage and all that when he locked in. You know what I'm saying? Like, the boy bad. So, I don't know, man. Have you – what – can you compare it to anything in our lifetime? I'm not talking about cumulatively from a team standpoint. I'm talking about offensive skill set, individual skill set and ability for 3-star players. Like, are they more potent than Run TMC? Like, where are the comparisons at? You know what I mean? Like, can you think anything that it might remind you of?
I mean, to be honest with you, if you know, looking at the 3 of those guys and how well and easy that they make it look scoring, and I think Harden, those playoff woes may take a back seat this year because he's playing with, you know, 2 other dudes who are elite. Right. In the past, he's had to do everything. So, you know, that may change. You know, obviously it remains to be seen. But if I'm trying to compare them to somebody offensively, I mean, I would have to say probably, and this may be out of left field, but like the Showtime Lakers, right? Because they had Magic. Magic could give, you know, 30 and you know, 15 dimes if he wanted to. They had Kareem, right? They had Byron Scott. They had James Worthy. Right, and then they had a whole bunch of other guys around them, like the Kurt Rambuses, the Michael Coopers, and stuff like that. Would, you know, where they were knocked down an open jumper, but those guys were always doing the dirty work on the defensive end, also. So, you know, if you have 3 dudes that can get you a bucket every time down the court, like who you like, you can't double anybody, you can't help off anybody. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be almost as open as it was with the KD Warriors, but. Like you said, the defensive end is going to be totally different because those guys like Draymond and Klay Thompson, whoever was playing center, those dudes were on a string defensively. Whereas, like, you know, some of those guys like Harden, I don't even know if he could spell defense. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it's going to be like. But I don't know if you can outscore them. I mean, you have to be so efficient because those dudes are just going to be crazy efficient. So you have to be, you know, as efficient as they are.
They've improved defensively, but you know it's gonna be about putting the ball in the basket, man, because they're gonna be flirting with, you know, $120, $130. If they start scoring like that, man, it's gonna be hard to keep. Like the pace is one of the things that I'm curious about, because if the Lakers are healthy, let's say, you know, Brown is 100%, AD is 85 to 90%, and they get Big Drum in there, and then he can, you know, do what he needs to do. He might not be able to play in some of that crunch time. But the one thing I love about LeBron's game is he dictates pace. Like, even if you want to run, he'll slow it down and just control the whole game just by the pace that he chooses to play. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's why that would be interesting to me, because I know KD, you know, and Harden, they want to get out there and go. But I think I can definitely see Bron being like, wait a minute, I'm controlling the tempo, and that, you know, that's why I kind of want to see it, but I just don't know what the Lakers, the health is the concern. That's what bothers me.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Health is a concern with the Lakers. Like, if AD is going to be, you know, he might lead the league in a dude that's always running down the court grabbing at something after. You know, he's mad skilled. I love AD, but, you know, outside of health, like, I just don't know how they match up with him. Like, who's going to guard Kyrie? You know, is he still able enough to guard, you know, Kevin Durant? You know, then who's going to guard James Harden, right? Yeah. So, you know, it's too many variables out there that you have to match up with. That's just going to be, you know, and normally people talk about playoffs, they slow down. Like, the ball slows down, the game slows down. But, you know, it's in the Nets' best interest is to kind of keep pushing it up and down the court, and, you know, as soon as you score, fly it up the court to somebody and make a play and get a quick bucket. Because, like I said, they're going to be hella efficient. So you got to have to try to match, you know, that efficiency offensively as well.